So on this page we're going to take a look at the cultural Hearth civilizations that were located in the Americas, the Olmec and the Chavin. Until the late 15th century CE, developing civilizations in the Americas were almost completely cut off from those in the Eastern Hemisphere. So agriculture was independently invented, and cultural diffusion took place only within the geographic boundaries of North and South America. In prehistoric days, humans reached the Western Hemisphere from Asia, although scholars disagree about when and how those migrations took place. The crossing of the land bridge, now the Aleutian Islands, from northern Asia to Alaska is widely accepted, although estimates of when the first migrations took place range from 35,000 years ago to about 15,000 years ago. Geographic influences. The most basic impact of physical geography was the separation of the western and eastern hemisphere by vast oceans and great distances. However, the tremendous distance north to south was important as well. Environments included frozen regions in the extreme north and south, tropical rainforests, vast plains, heavily forested areas, and high mountain ranges. These characteristics made farming impossible in many areas and quite possible in others. But long distances between arable or farmable areas made contact among groups difficult. The two areas where farming provided the basis for development of early civilizations were Mesoamerica, now Mexico and northern Central America, and the Andean Mountains along the coast of northwestern South America. So you can see here in this map is showing the direction from which people came here from Asia, across a land bridge through what's now Alaska, into what's now Canada, into what's now the United States, and eventually people traveled down along this red line here all the way into Central and South America. And you can see the estimates of the times for the red, blue, and green travel routes. So of these two civilizations, the first one we're going to talk about is the Olmec, which were located in Mesoamerica, and again that's here in this part of Central America. And this civilization took place between 1200 and 400 BCE. In Mesoamerica, agricultural villages appeared by about 3000 BCE and spread throughout the region over the next 1,000 years. Farmers cultivated beans, peppers, avocados, squash, maize, and tomatoes, all completely different crops than those domesticated in the Eastern Hemisphere. In contrast to civilizations in the Eastern Hemisphere, they domesticated a limited number of animals. They raised turkeys and dogs, but had access to no large animals, such as horses, cattle, goats, and sheep, that were domesticable. By 1200 BCE, or perhaps earlier, a complex society had emerged that archaeologists called the Olmec, or rubber people. Economic development and social distinctions. The Olmec civilization was based on agriculture, but farmers had no need for extensive irrigation because the area received abundant rainfall for cultivating crops. The cities grew as religious and trade centers, exchanging products like salt, cacao, chocolate beans, clay for ceramics, and limestone. Like many other civilizations, Olmec society was probably authoritative and hierarchical. An elite group of priests dominated the early Olmec cities. Another elite group included the ruler and his family, who were able to acquire and direct labor for city building projects from the general population. A class of merchants probably did some long-distance trading in jade, obsidian, and pottery. Political and cultural characteristics. Little is known about the nature of political power, but some form of kingship that combined religious and secular, meaning non-religious, responsibilities appeared in the major cities. These political elite had large, elaborately decorated houses and lived very different lifestyles than those of commoners, who lived in simple, small structures constructed of sticks and mud. The Olmec were great carvers of jade, and they traded or conquered to get it. They developed a numerical system based on 30 and a 365-day calendar, combined with a 260-day ritual cycle that became the basis of all later Mesoamerican calendars. The next civilization, or let me back up for a second and just review this map. Here you can see this part of Central America, pretty close to what is basically now Mexico. You can see here. This is the area we're talking about where the Olmec were in Central America, or Mesoamerica. And then this civilization, the Chavin, is lower down south on the western part of South America, here where present-day Peru is. So at about the same time that the Olmec civilization was flourishing in Mesoamerica, the Chavin dominated a heavily populated region that included both the coastal plain of Peru and the foothills of the Andes Mountains. Both civilizations, Olmec and Chavin, differed from those of the Eastern Hemisphere, in that they did not develop in river valleys. The Chavin faced many geographic challenges. The coast of Peru has little rainfall, and in some places is quite narrow, but the abundance of fish and other sea life provided a dependable supply of food. The Andes Mountains rise dramatically from the coast plain, with many peaks rising above 20,000 feet. The Chavin civilization rose in this unlikely environment that combined dry coast and high mountain valley. Economic and social distinctions. The Chavin capital, Chavin de Huantar, was located in a high mountain valley of about 10,300 feet altitude at an intersection of trade routes connecting the west coast with mountain valleys and mountain valley to tropical lowlands to the east. This location helped the Chavin to control trade and gain important economic advantages over surrounding peoples. Exactly how labor was organized is unknown, but in later times people were organized by communities to share the responsibility. In contrast to the Olmec, the Chavin had a domesticated beast of burden, the llama, to help with chores. The Chavin independently invented metallurgical or metal techniques that probably diffused through cultural diffusion to Mesoamerica. Craftspeople worked in silver and gold, creating decorative and ceremonial items for buildings and religious objects. Superior quality textiles and gold crowns distinguished rulers from commoners, and skilled artisans were probably a social class that served the elite. Please remember, as we're going through this video, to go back through and answer all of the questions that are in blue. Next section is political and cultural development. Since the area covered 3 different ecological zones, the people were motivated to create an empire to control all of them, as well as connecting trade routes. Since arable land was limited, some kind of political organization was needed for irrigation and protection of land. There is evidence of early warfare, but we don't know much about the nature of their rule. Part of the Chavin's influence appears to be based on its religion, which spread through most of the territory and perhaps to Mesoamerica. Although the beliefs of the religion are unknown, a jaguar god combined with human and animal features was a very important symbol for the religion. Jaguars were inscribed on buildings, pottery, and textiles, over a huge expanse of territory, including Mesoamerica. Other intricate stone carvings depicted snakes, hawks, eagles, and humans with feline characteristics. So please continue to answer the questions that are in blue, and then continue to work on developing your group presentation on these two civilizations in the Americas.